Well, it's been a minute since we've done this, but it's Big Rich and Haas. We're giving you a little bit of a preview of what you're going to get from us here in the very near future on a weekly basis with our wrestling show here on Driving to the Top Productions. Haas, what's going on, buddy?
I'm good. I mean, we had a successful open mic last night where we got everything and no loss. I think the last time we were together talking something wrestling related, we predicted WrestleMania and something wrestling wise on this Drive to the Top Productions was a Hulk Hogan tribute show I did on my channel the day after he passed away.
Yeah, it was. That was one of those things that I caught like right when it happened, and ended up being able to jump on real quick with the way my work was. It was kind of weird the way it played out, but yeah, man, it's been a minute. Um, Very glad to be able to do this again with you, though. Of course, as you can see from my background, uh, talk a little John Cena and farewell tour. You know, I, I don't know about you. Where are you at on this whole thing that they've done with the farewell tour from the jump? The heel turn and the whole works.
I mean, I'm gonna say, to be honest with you, probably I've enjoyed about 70% of this. I mean, you reunited with some rivalries to feud with. We got one more match with Orton, one more match with CM Punk, one more match with Brock Lesnar, one more match with AJ Styles. The heel turn was surprised, but I felt like it went nowhere because after it happened, we never saw The Rock again. Cena magically became a babyface again, courtesy of the fans, after Cody took the belt from him again.
Yeah.
And I feel like now it's a better turn of events, despite this last time is now tournament, which I feel like it's kind of a corny tournament right now. But I think the main question is, when we get to it, is who else is in this tournament, and who are these two mystery opponents for like LA Knight and Solo Sikoa coming within the next several days?
Yeah, and I mean, LA Knight's a whole nother discussion because they've absolutely just stuck him under the rug for right now. Um, yeah, I loved getting the chance for AJ to get his match and guys like that. You're definitely going to get Orton. Um, to me, what I would like and what I think is going to happen are two completely different things. Because I know it can't happen. What I would like for his last match is Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that would be great. But
Because that was his first match.
I know he just had, I think, placement surgery or knee replacement. He had something where he can't even get in the ring again. But I mean, I would like if he could be a part of something like a special guest referee or something.
Well, they have said that he'll be there, whether he's a part of it or not, but ideal situation, he would have Angle for his last match, and because it'd be a full circle kind of deal. There's always that conceivability, and I don't know exactly where Tony Khan is going to sit with this. Edge or Jericho. There is that possibility of that being his final match. I also, if it's the guy that I heard a rumor today about, I'm all about it because I am a huge fan of this guy in NXT and have been a fan of his since he was in AEW. If it's Ricky Starks or Ricky Saints now, I'm all in.
That'd be interesting.
I'm all in.
But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if he puts Saints over, that just even puts a bigger rocket on the back of Saints.
Mm-hmm. 5 names I've seen spoiling around that could be his final opponent. They said Jericho, they've said Edge, they've said. Well, actually, I'm going by who could 2 of these 5 mystery opponents be. Remember, there's also 4 more superstars they ain't announced yet for first round matches. They still have 2 more of those, but like for LA Knight or Solo, 5 names that went around as like an Edge or a Chris Jericho. Some think Joe Hendry. Some think Matt Cardona. Some think Nick Nemeth or Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, and I've also heard Gunther.
Yeah, we already know who Gunther's winning that matchup when he faces Javon Evans, so that sucks for Javon.
It does, but I'll tell you what, Javon Evans is one of those guys that 2 or 3 years from now, he's going to be a top level guy.
Absolutely.
But Cena versus Gunther, okay. I just don't think Gunther needs, and that's where, if you've listened to what Cena has said, he said he wants this last match to help the younger guys, to help the next generation of guys, which is kind of why I took Edge and Jericho and went, no. Plus, I don't know if Tony Khan would let him go, but the Ricky Saints idea, that makes sense. Or Joe Hendry for that matter. But he's got that whole thing going with him and Thea Hale right now in NXT, and
Gold Rush.
But I'll tell you what, Joe Hendry's valid, very valid. But I'm with you. I'm really interested to see who these unknowns are. And because this isn't Vince, everybody's got to remember this. This is not Vince McMahon promoting this. So it's not one of those that nobody exists that's not in WWE. So it could, it might be a deal where you get how funny would it be for one of the unknowns to be Santino Marella?
That'd be corny, but I don't think I've ever seen him feud with a Santino. But back to what you
but I'm just
said.
Yeah.
Ricky Saints would be like fantastic, especially for a guy like me who admires him, especially being from my state and everything.
Oh yeah. He worked, he started out working with the guy that I went to high school with. I've told you about my buddy Randy Blakely.
Yes.
Lance Romance. And he worked with Ricky in the very beginning. I've got a picture of him with Ricky and Austin Theory and I'll think of who the other one is. But the three of them, all four of them together as part of the International Players Club. So I go back to following Saints that far. I know Cena wants to do this the right way, and I know that there's been public outcry out there, or not necessarily public outcry, but public exposure to the fact that he's not real happy about how this whole tour has gone. I think a lot of it is with the whole box thing. Huh?
I said I don't blame him one bit.
No, I don't think that, me personally, and I thought it was kind of crummy. This is where the flip side of what I just said a minute ago. This isn't Vince McMahon promoting this thing. If Vince was promoting this thing, his last match would have been in Boston. No matter what, his last match would have been in Boston. But because Washington, D.C. threw more money on the table at TKO, then they're going to Washington, D.C. for Cena's last match instead of Boston, and made his last Boston appearance was this past Monday night. I'm not surprised. Are you surprised at all that they put the IC title on him?
I'm kind of shocked, but then again, I'm kind of glad because I thought about long and hard how to say this live for people to watch. But when you think of greatest of all time, and I'm going back to go back to the 80s, you think of other guys who have been called that, like a Hulk Hogan or even an Undertaker, guys like them. They've never been a Grand Slam champion. Like Hogan's only been world champion and tag team champion. Undertaker's only been world champion, tag champ, hardcore champ. Shawn Michaels was quote unquote first Grand Slam champion, even though the U.S. title wasn't a thing back in the day. They had the European Championship that was like their other mid card title. Same with Triple H. I think even The Rock was considered a Grand Slam champion. Stone Cold Steve Austin wasn't even a Grand Slam champion. He just won the world title, IC title, tag titles, so forth. But for a guy like John Cena, who was that same level as a Hulk Hogan and a Stone Cold Steve Austin, to even, and no disrespect to guys like a Shawn Michaels or a Triple H, those guys that literally was the face. Like when you say WWE, you think of that name first. That's very adequate to say. And I've always wondered, I'm like, would they ever put the title on him? That'd be I wouldn't be surprised if they retired him without ever holding that at least once. Because we know he's held the U.S. title 5 times, tag titles 4 times, 17-time combined world champion, if you consider his 14 WWE title reigns and his 3 big gold belt reigns. But this was perfect for a guy like him. And then down the road, when Roman Reigns hangs those boots up, he can be in that list with Cena. Randy Orton the same way, AJ Styles the same way, Seth Rollins the same way. Cena kind of will be the first to pave that for guys that are going to be the face of it, first name in their mind when you say the face of WWE.
Yeah, and I titled this thing Wrestling Royalty for that purpose. I mean, there's no question Cena is in that upper echelon when you talk about WWE and WWE/F. Even to go further back, if you want to talk Bruno Sammartino, guys like that. But I've never, and I realize this is going to catch me some flack, and feel free to fire away with the comments. I was never a Cena fan. After the Thugonomics thing I thought was cool, and it worked out okay. But when it got to the point that everything was exactly the same, it was just a different guy he was directing it at. The most entertaining stuff to me he ever did was the stuff with Stephanie. When they were going back and forth, that was the most entertaining stuff I think Cena's ever done. Now, on the flip side of that, and anyone that has ever listened to us on open mic night when we're talking about this stuff on Tuesday nights, what's one of the biggest things that I look at in an athlete? How do they interact with the kids? Top of the mountain. I mean, the guy holds the record for the most Make-A-Wish wishes and that kind of thing. Full credit, man. I mean, for him to do what he does for the kids, not just Make-A-Wish, but for the kids in general, you can't deny that. So, does he deserve this sort of, riding off into the sunset? Yeah. Is he the greatest of all time?
Very debatable.
He's on the list. He's on the list. Mm-hmm. I mean, I could put him top 5. I'm not sure I'd have him 1.
You'd put him up there with what, like a Hogan, Stone Cold.
See, I wouldn't put Hogan up there either.
Okay, what would you put in your top
Stone Cold? Yeah, Stone Cold. I would be up there. Flair would be up there. I think Undertaker would be up there. And this is probably going to get pretty controversial, but I'd put AJ Styles up there.
I don't see that controversial. I think he's a fantastic character himself.
One of the things that you can give Cena, though, and it was timing. It was pure timing. If you remember correctly, when he came in 2002, things were kind of, you had just left the Attitude Era. Things were kind of, wrestling was kind of not what it was. Austin was retired. Rock was done, all that stuff. And he came in and reignited that fire. And the ruthless aggression thing, he took that ball from Vince and ran with it. When he came out and even acknowledged it in his first promo, Angle says, well, what do you have that nobody else has? And he says, ruthless aggression, and knocks Angle down. he did bring the help. He was a major linchpin in bringing the WWE back up. He, Angle, Lesnar, Orton, Batista, those guys. But I for that, I think he should also be looked at because what he did and the guys he was working with, I think that may have ended up saving what was going on because you got to remember during that time too, you had the transition. They had just bought WCW, so you got all this stuff going on with that. Plus, you've got the fact that The Rock and Stone Cold and these guys are going away. They're more kind of behind the scenes or sidelines. So, but I don't know about you. Do I? And the more I think about it, and the more with him doing this farewell tour and all that, do you ever wonder just how many pieces of merchandise this man has sold?
Oh, I'm pretty sure he probably broke Stone Cold's Austin 316 shirt record. And that's not just in general, including how many different shirts he had on this tour. Every city he went, it was a different shirt. And
Mm-hmm.
thousands at least were sold in one night. And that's not including online or worldwide.
And I mean, Rock made the joke about it, but it's the God's honest truth. He had enough shirts to make it look like a big bowl of Fruity Pebbles because you name the color, he had the shirt. And like you said, every city, it's kind of like when Lesnar was doing the Suplex City thing. Every place that he's gone on this tour, he's had t-shirts and wristbands and hats and all that stuff. I mean, this guy has sold so much merch. It's unbelievable. You can't turn around without seeing somebody in a John Cena something.
I still think the most insane thing was when Rock made that joke saying he looked like a big fat bowl of Fruity Pebbles. Fruity Pebbles literally sponsored John Cena that year. And
They
that's when the
did.
different color shirts were coming to play, like every quarter of the month at least. He switched, like he went from, I think at that time, his shirt was purple. He had a purple shirt because he debuted that shirt, I think, around the fall of 2010. And I bought that one because it was LSU colors. Then he had the red one for WrestleMania 27. That was my alma mater's colors. I bought that one. He's done blue. He's done green. He's done pink for breast cancer. He's done orange. I bought the orange one too.
He's
Light
done
blue,
yellow.
yellow. Even though there's no black Fruity Pebble. I mean, yeah, he done black shirt, white shirt, gray
He's also
shirt.
done red.
Yeah, I mentioned red. Yeah, he did red and blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, like any color in the book, he did it.
I was gonna say, I think the only one he may have never done was brown.
I don't
He's
think he's
done
done.
camo. He
He's
did
done.
camo when they were doing that tribute to the troops deal. He did
That
camo shirts.
that was one thing military wise. I remember I bought. I remember the Bulldog shirt with the soldier helmet on it that he had around 2007. I was one of the Cena shirts I owned. Uh, Damn, I'm
And
talking
that's
like
another one with him.
I'm
Well,
talking
but
like
that's
it's the
another
Cena
one with
tribute
him too.
show. Yeah,
Well, yeah, well, it kind of sort of is, but that's another thing about him too is his focus on the military. Because I think just from seeing what you see from him, right below the kids is the military. The respect that he has for veterans and active military and retired and it's you can tell there's a lot of legitimate respect there uh from him with those guys. And I think that's pretty cool too. But we I know that this was the kind of the main purpose of us doing this thing was to talk about Cena's farewell tour, the last match, the tournament, that kind of thing. Um, this tournament is weird. A lot of question marks
yeah.
out
I feel
there,
like it's
but
yeah. I mean, I'm not hating
who
on
would
some of the stipulations they've had so far. Like Rusev beat Damian Priest, which that makes sense if you're trying to get Rusev to win it because Rusev's had history with Cena. Sheamus beating Shinsuke Nakamura. Remember, Sheamus won his first WWE title from Cena in 2009, and they've had some sort of a feud in 2010 as well. Not no big one,
Who
but
would you
I
have?
remember.
If
Well,
you had the pencil, who would you have in Cena's last match?
if we're going by who's in the tournament as of right now, with Miz and Jey Uso
No.
fighting.
You
Oh,
are king of WWE right now. Who are you? You're Triple H. You're booking this whole thing. Who do you book as Cena's last opponent?
well, like I would go one or two ways. If we're going with someone who's currently on the roster today, who's no stranger of retired people, I could say Gunther. His name's been roaming around a lot. Or if you want to go do a blast for the past for one last match, I'd just throw Edge in there because that was my favorite John Cena rival of all time.
Yeah,
Run it back one more time.
I like both of those. Yeah, this is definitely one that there's just a lot of possibilities, and people can speculate all they want, but there's just a lot of possibilities. It's
Now,
gonna be interesting to see.
unfortunately, we have a playoff game Friday, so I will not be watching SmackDown, but I will have that phone volume up loud if an alert goes off saying breaking news. So returns to fight LA Knight in the tournament. But Monday night I will be watching live because if it's first off, it's in New York City. That Raw in Boston was probably the best Raw I've seen in a long time. And they've had a lot of
And that was
shitty
Cena's last
Raws
Raw.
this last several months. But yeah, I knew they were going to
Yeah.
make it special, and they sure did with it being in Boston, starting with him winning that belt.
Yeah, and you knew at some point him and Dom were going to cross. You knew at some point they were going to have to put him and Dominic in together somehow. I wasn't sure it was going to be for the title, but there was going to have to be a Dominic and Cena match. Um, I think they did. I think it worked out great, like you say. And there was a great, all those great lines that Cena's had. Dominic had one in that promo when he said, when Cena said something about Eddie, being Eddie Guerrero would be ashamed of him, and he said, "You keep my dad's name out of your mouth." They keep going back to this Eddie's your dad kind of thing. Um, I'm curious to see how that's going to all finish out too when it's all said and done. But
I had to listen to what Hangman said. He told Joe he wanted him in a cage at full gear. That's why I had it on mute.
oh, what's that now?
Because oh no, I was seeing what Hangman cut a promo on show. They dropped the cage down while they were beating him out for Hobbs and who else? Who else is it? Oh, Eddie Kingston got in there to aid Hangman, and then he told him leave Shibata at home, leave Hobbs in the hospital. He said, "I want you in a steel cage match at Full Gear." So Joe and Hangman are fighting in a cage at Full Gear for the world title.
It should be a good match. I mean, Joe's the best they've got. Let's be perfectly honest. I mean, Joe's
The
the
only
best wrestler they got. They should have put.
Yeah. I think just what's crazy is I'm not that big on AEW. They haven't been as good either. But the fact that it's blood and guts, that's the only reason I'm tuning in tonight to see if they can out top
I'll tell
War
you what.
Games that's coming up. And then I only watched last week because they were in Houston last week, but I didn't go.
And I'll go strictly off of the depth of the division. Their women's division is better than WWE's.
I can't argue with that.
Their women's division is really good. The guys, I mean, not a Young Bucks fan. I
I
like
was.
FTR. I just wish that they wouldn't have just wet the bed with FTR. FTR could have been the 2020s Midnight Express, and they completely screwed the pooch on it.
I don't really care. I mean, the last pay per view I watched was All In because that was like their WrestleMania, and I almost went to that show. But other than that, I'm not paying for something that's technically half-assed like that every month. Now WWE, I really wasn't a big fan of the whole deal with ESPN because I haven't upgraded my account. I didn't really want to, but now with what I saw Monday night, I kind of want to watch Survivor Series now. So potentially soon at the end of the month, I'm gonna upgrade my ESPN account just to watch Survivor Series. So that being said, no, I did not watch WrestlePalooza and I did not watch Crown Jewel. Clash in Paris, the last one that was on Peacock was the last one I watched.
Well, and to be honest, you haven't missed much. Um,
With what I saw on X or social media, you're right.
WWE right now, they've got a lot. They're taking a lot of spaghetti, throwing it against the wall, and seeing what sticks. Because like right now with Cody, everybody and their mother knows who Cody's best next opponent is. They just haven't done it yet. And they don't want to do it yet until Cena's farewell tour is over, and that's to turn Randy Orton.
Yeah, probably ain't gonna get it to WrestleMania.
At least Survivor or at least Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Speaking of,
My thinking is maybe Randy wins the Rumble or wins the Elimination Chamber.
I could see him winning the Chamber. I don't know if they would let him tie Stone Cold's record, winning 3 Rumbles. That would be nice, but I cannot see them pulling the trigger on that. I thought Cena would have been the one to do it, but they gave it to Jay, which I did not hate because I was so big. I'm still a Jey Uso fan, and Jay's getting so much hate because they're just bored with the same old 4 letters, one word yeeting, and his entrance being just as long as Roman Reigns with getting a crowd hyped up. Like, he's gotten so much hate
Yeah.
after he won that title at WrestleMania.
The only problem I have with Jey Uso, to be perfectly honest with you, is that he's just not real good in the ring. I mean, he has his few moves in that, but yeah, he now does he get the crowd going? Absolutely. There's no question about that. He gets the crowd fired up, and there's just no other way of looking at it. But when you think about it, I mean, he just he doesn't do much for me. And this whole thing with him going one way or the other, and is he going to turn on Jimmy? Is he not going to turn on Jimmy? You know, is there going to be a turn during War Games? Is he going to become part of the War Games thing? Which I know, you and I were talking about War Games. The men's War Games right now, they're still missing pieces because they're not going to go in 3-on-3.
No.
Right now, it's Cody, Punk, and Jey Uso against Braun, Bronson, and Logan Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see? I see Lesnar getting in this thing somehow.
Well, see, this is what I'm thinking right now. I guess they're trying to make it 5-on-5. These days I wouldn't mind 4-on-4 like classic way because I'm hearing about John Cena is potentially going to be on this team for his final PLE. I could see it happening. That'd be a fourth guy for, if you want to call him the All-Star team. Now, for a fourth guy to join the Vision, I can definitely see Drew McIntyre being in this match because he's got his thing with Cody Rhodes. Go team up with the Vision. Now, if you're trying to make it 5-on-5, yeah, I could see Roman being a fifth guy with Cena, Punk, Jay, and Cody. And I'm thinking, who could be the fifth for the Vision? And if they get Drew McIntyre, and you just like you said, I've had a lot of people tell me Brock Lesnar. That is
the only problem. The only problem with McIntyre is that he's suspended currently. He's indefinitely suspended for claymoring the referee. Not last Friday, but the Friday before.
I didn't hear how. I don't know how long he's suspended for. They didn't say how long.
It's an indefinite suspension.
Okay.
So I don't know how long. I haven't heard how long it's going to be or anything. but your logic makes sense because it does line up where you'd have, Cody's got the issue with McIntyre. Lesnar still has the issue with Roman, and Roman still has the issue and Roman has the issue with Solo and his bunch, and you know,
Punk's got a thing with
Cena.
Logan, even though you want to throw the Vision in too.
Yeah, yeah. And see, I don't. Do you look at Logan Paul as just a placeholder right now?
For Seth Rollins, yes. Because if Seth
Mm-hmm.
was not hurt, he would be the fourth guy right now. Well, he would be them three if you add Drew and Brock on the team. I think if he was hurt, Logan would not be an effect on this.
So I was thinking the same thing, that Logan Paul's just there as a placeholder. Thanks a lot. And what I could honestly see happening, and this would just absolutely set the whole internet wrestling community on fire. Seth comes back, and the three of them turn on Logan Paul, and they
Hey,
just beat
we've
the
been
absolute
fooled.
fire
Yeah,
out of him.
we've been
Bronson
fooled on women.
tsunamis him a couple of times, that kind of stuff. Um, but I mean, does Seth come back? Does he come back as a member of the Vision?
I think not. I mean, I think this
I don't either.
injury is for real. I think it's for real, and when he comes back, he's going to come back as a babyface. But if he goes after
Mm-hmm.
Punk, I mean, do they make Punk a heel all of a sudden in this feud if they go back and rerun this? That, I mean, a million questions could come into that.
Yeah.
But here's my thing for the
Yeah.
women's war games. Right now it's 4-on-4. You got Rhea, Io, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair against Asuka, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, and Lashley, which I love the pairing of Nia and Lash. I mean, I enjoyed Lash in NXT. She's killing it on SmackDown. If they make it 5-on-5 at first, when Nikki turned on Vakir, I said one or two things are going to happen. Either they're going to go one-on-one for that title, or they might drag that to maybe like Saturday night's main event and they put Nikki on one team and Vakir on the other, or you put Maxine and Becky in these two teams because they're also got a feud going on that's hot. And I'm calling it now. I think Maxine wins that title next week against Becky in MSG.
I think she does too. I cannot in any way see putting Maxine Dupree in that match, in that War Games match. I can't see it. She's just not there yet. Could I see Stephanie and Nikki? Maybe. I think you leave them all out. I think you go 4-on-4 with the women. It's perfect the way it is right now because you got Rhea and Io and the Kabuki Warriors that want to rip each other's lungs out. You got Lash and Nia and Charlotte and Alexa that want to rip each other's lungs out. Leave it that way. Don't mess with it. Don't jack with the chemistry. Don't anything. Let those four go in there and just do their thing. I can't. I just don't know. I think you do two separate matches. You have Stephanie against Nikki. You have Becky with her rematch against Maxine, and go from there. I wouldn't even mess with a fifth person.
Okay.
Wouldn't even jack with it.
All right. I got one more thing that relates to Survivor Series we may see. With what's going on, people's been asking, what are they going to do with Dominic? Because it's in San Diego, it's in his hometown, it's in his baseball team's ballpark. You think they're going to give him something to be reckoned with? Like I thought maybe they were going to put him challenging Punk or something, or I thought at first they were going to have him win the mega title from Vikingo, but they didn't wait too soon for that. No, I think what they might do now, I think we're unfortunately going to get another father-son match, but I think it might be title versus career. I think he puts that mega title on the line, and Ray puts his career on the line, and then he finally retires his dad.
Very possible. I think
Someone
that's
said,
really possible.
or someone said mask versus hair. I said, no, it's got to be title versus career, not mask versus hair, because I have him beating Ray. I can't see Ray without his mask again, like in 2000. Like he was in the filthy.
Yeah, and the other part of it too is, I mean, Ray has gotten to that point that being in the ring just isn't there anymore. I mean, you could even see the other night when those two were in the ring.
Plus, I don't
he's not Rey
recall.
Mysterio.
Yeah, he ain't what he was like in between 2002 2006, but he calls himself not he ain't call himself the king of the luchadors, but he says you're not going to respect lucha libre because I am lucha libre. And then he fights for that legacy, but he's never won that belt. But his son did, and like give him a shot to win it, even though if he don't win it, I don't see him winning it. Maybe be like, I'll put my career on the line to try and win that, where you don't disrespect lucha libre, or like because you've seen him talk like that when Dom said, "I'm
Yeah.
the king of the luchadors. I'm better than my real father Eddie Guerrero." Stuff like
Yeah,
kind
and
of
that's
cool.
maybe where you get Mr. Iguana and these other guys involved and all that kind of stuff.
Hey, I love Mister. I love Mister. I have been enjoying this partnership with AAA, and I love that I can catch it for free on YouTube because I love watching Mr. Iguana. I love watching Psycho Clown, Pagano, Dr. Wagner, Vikingo, even though people hate him. I want to know where you can tune in weekly to watch this because I only see stuff on Instagram. I don't know if they got a
I
partnership
haven't
with the
seen anything.
network, but I would tune in weekly. I wouldn't care if I couldn't understand a word they're saying. I've been enjoying the Worlds Collide shows or anything else they've done that where they streamed on YouTube. Triple Mania was and El Grande Americano. That's going to be the next mega champion. And Ludwig Kaiser, I feel like is way better than Chad Gable. Like when Gable come back, just keep it to Ludwig. He must be
Yeah.
using Babel for a German guy that can speak proper Spanish without hesitation. He is killing it.
Well, from what I have read, Kaiser can speak like 6 languages.
Genius.
Yeah, he's a very educated guy. Um, but see, I'm waiting for them to put the Lucha Brothers back together because
Yeah, I
Ray
mean,
Phoenix and Penta were have been a tag team everywhere they've been.
mm-hmm.
And Phoenix and Penta is a tremendous tag team. And I'm ready for them to put them back together. I'm ready for the Judgment Day to blow up. Because I
I
think we're gonna see. I think now that there's no belts and everything, I think we're gonna see that blow up before too long.
to
Raquel and
well,
Roxanne can handle their own thing. Finn and JD, I think, can either go their separate ways or stay as a tag team. And then Dom's gonna be doing his thing.
well, to be honest, I feel like one or two things is going to happen that involves Judgment Day, but they're going to wait till Liv comes back. Either they officially break up for good, or they kick Dominic out, whether him and Liv are still a thing or not.
Oh yeah.
I don't think the Judgment Day is ever going to fall.
Hmm.
I feel like they could do better with it. I feel like they need the right guy to run it. And I've been saying you got to have Finn Balor run the Judgment Day. Not Dominic, not Liv, not Damian Priest, not Edge. It's got to be Finn Balor. If you're trying to make him a main event star again, I feel like this is probably the only way I can think of as of right now.
Finn Balor just to me seems like a walking, talking pile of dull. There's no. I just don't see any fire. Any now when he does the demon character, whole different discussion. But Finn Balor is Finn Balor just doesn't seem to be. He just has no oomph. He has no reason to get people fired up. There's no there to me there's just nothing to get excited about. Really, there's nobody in the Judgment Day right now to get excited about. None of them.
They need to add like better members, or they need to make some cuts and put some better members. I don't know who could be better. I mean, I
That's the bad
enjoyed.
part. I don't know who's better.
I mean, I liked that Roxanne was in it. I didn't care for Raquel being in it. I thought having Carlito in it was pretty funny, but then at first I didn't like JD being in it, but him and Finn are I think you can't break him and Finn up. They were made to be a tag team. So if you got it, I mean,
Well, from
Liv, I don't even find Liv perfect for that group. I'd rather Rhea was more fit for a female than Liv Morgan in that group.
yeah, and see, I read something a while back that Finn and McDonough teamed up in Europe when they were wrestling in the United Kingdom and doing World of Sport and things like that. they were a tag team then. So that's what's really helped with them having this chemistry now. They had it before, and it was just a matter of reigniting the fire. um, yeah, I just don't. I'm with you. I don't know who you would put in. If you took somebody out, who do you put in?
Exactly. Like, I mean, and I'm not talking about no call ups from NXT. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's someone on Raw or SmackDown. I can't find who yet to like, hey, I think he'd be perfect fit for the Judgment Day. Like, it's hard to tell. And I'm not talking
The
about the
only one
Wyatt
that I
Six. Let them do their own
the only
thing.
one that I could honestly think of is Aleister Black.
Aleister Black and maybe Selena Vega. I love her evil
Oh
side
yeah,
now.
you'd have to bring Zelina with you.
If you got to put Damian Priest back in it, put him back in it.
I think Priest is pretty well set on his solo stuff right now.
But
But
I
yeah,
when I said TKO drama, I thought of one or two things. I don't know where you want to start. Do you want to start with one of them? I don't even know if you want to consider it TKO's fault. It could be just a Triple H thing or creative fault. But what was your take on New Orleans getting WrestleMania taken away from them and having Vegas hosted 2 years in a row, and then down the road we get a WrestleMania in Saudi for their blood money, and the drama with LA Knight getting buried all because he grabbed a crowd sign that said, "We want LA Knight, not Jey Uso."
well, the TKO end of things. I mean, I have a very funny feeling that just like with other things, see WrestleMania 40, that The Rock jumped the gun and using his power decided he was going to make this announcement in New Orleans that New Orleans was getting WrestleMania and all this other
I was
before
there,
everything was finalized.
and I was there.
And then they turned around and what was it, a week later, 2 weeks later?
2 months.
Um, okay. But shortly thereafter, come to find out that Las Vegas got it for the second year in a row. That just to me is what I
Mm-hmm.
think happened because I think The Rock is really good at jumping the gun. Um, like I say, he did it at WrestleMania 40. He did it with the heel turn for Cena and bringing in, oh man, I'll think of his name in a second. The rapper that weighs about 64 pounds,
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott, bringing him in and all that. No, that was 100%
That was a.
Rock stupidity.
I didn't get that.
Um,
When Cena turned heel, I didn't get why Travis Scott had to be involved. I got The Rock, but it's like after that we never saw him again. Like, what was the point of having The Rock? When Cena could have did that all on his own. You didn't need The Rock to pull the trigger to do that. Cena could have just did that on his own without The Rock and Travis Scott in there. I felt like that probably would have been way better. Cody and Cena in the ring all by themselves, and then he just looks at the camera mean and then kicks him in the balls. That would have been better than The
right.
Rock doing that.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about Triple H's ego. Rock's ego leads him into accounting. Now, I mean, granted, a lot of it is justified, but still, I mean, he has an ego that, especially being a high ranking official now in TKO, he's realistically Triple H's boss. If you look at the hierarchy of the company. So, yeah, I mean, you're asking about that. I think that was 100% The Rock, not necessarily TKO, but Rock's jumping the gun before
And to be
everything was
honest,
finalized.
we don't even know. And to be honest, we don't even know when they're even going to get it because we already know they're not getting it in 2027. That's going to Saudi. When
Uh-huh.
Indianapolis was promised to WrestleMania, and Nashville was also promised to WrestleMania, and Minneapolis was also promised to WrestleMania, future
From
WrestleMania.
what
So
I
we don't know when they're going to come back. And
well,
they
from
were
what I
given
gather,
money in the
28
bank.
is Indy. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, the only thing I can say is, for them to say, "Oh, I'm sorry that The Rock jumped the gun. We're going to give you an exciting show. We're going to give you money in the bank, but now instead of doing it in whenever they usually do it, beginning of the summer. It was supposed to be at the end of August, but now it's going to be Labor Day weekend, which don't make no sense. You're doing it after SummerSlam, but hey, I really don't care because you know what? I'm going to end up still going. I'll end up being there if the tickets are not overpriced because it's New Orleans.
Well, and that's the other thing, man. Ticket prices for these PLEs have gone through the roof. I don't think we're going to see a problem. WWE and TKO are going to run into an issue with this Saudi WrestleMania, not at the event itself. The event's going to sell out. They're going to have whatever, 80,000 people, 85,000 people in that stadium.
Wherever
That's
they have
not
it
going to
at.
be the issue. The people that they're going to have where they're going to have the issue and lose money is the whole week worth of stuff beforehand, where they have all the fan fests and the fanatics deal and all that kind of good stuff. You're not going to have as big a turnout. You're not going to have, 3, 4, 500,000 people walking through that thing over the course of a week. You're not going to travel from, Texas to Las Vegas or from, Florida to California to go to WrestleMania. You're not going from the United States to Saudi Arabia.
I doubt Green Shirt Guy will be there. I'd be surprised if he's there. And that's why I'm waiting to see what happens with the Royal Rumble because, they're getting the Rumble too, which that's going to be weird watching a Royal Rumble PLE around 12 o'clock our time. Usually the Saudi PLEs in Central Time are around 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Same with WrestleMania.
It doesn't make they'll do what they're going to do. They're going to see that they lost on the deal. They lost outside of the deal. The event itself is not going to have any change because they're still going to have the Saudi people that are going to show up for the event and pay the money and all. Plus, they get paid by the Saudi government just for coming out there.
They pay them a lot.
Where they're going to lose the money is in the peripheral stuff. And that's a lot of money that they generate in revenue from merchandise, memorabilia, autographs, all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, that because this just in, folks, that autograph money doesn't go all to the talent. Sorry.
No.
You pay that $100 for this. I don't care where you're going. WWE or any other venue that you're going to for a convention or something like that, all that money doesn't go to the talent. Talent gets a percentage.
They get like a 10, 20 percentage, maybe more.
For WWE, I think it's 25. But whenever you're like conventions and things like that, usually it's either 50 or 75% goes to the talent.
Okay.
Depending on what show it is. And if they get paid for showing up. Because I know I heard Mark Henry talk. I think it wasn't Mark Henry. Who was it?
Was it somebody from Texas?
I can't remember. Yes, I do. It was Ron Simmons was talking about when he does these shows and signs that the percentage that he gets off the autographs fluctuates depending on if they pay him to show up and pay his trans and all that stuff, or if they don't. If they don't, he gets everything. If they do, then he gets a percentage. So
that's crazy.
But the LA Knight thing, I don't know. I mean, I think he got hot at the wrong time. And I say that mainly because he got hot right at the point where you had Uso get hot and Cody was coming off of finishing the story, and you had all these other things going on, and he never really had that chance, kind of like McIntyre, to be honest, to break through that glass ceiling. And the fans want him to get those chances. But who are you going to move out of the way to give him those chances? I mean, are you going to move Randy Orton? Or are you going to move Drew McIntyre? Are you going to move Seth Rollins or Braun Breaker or somebody like that? I don't know.
Well, I was hoping, like at Saturday night's main event, the recent one we just had, Drew would have won the title because I couldn't see him losing 3 consecutive times to Cody, which I've seen that happen with other superstars like Randy Orton losing 3 to Jinder Mahal, which I don't hinder the gender if we're going that far back. But I thought Cody was supposed to go shoot another movie in Hollywood. I know he did Street Fighter for like a month, but I swore I heard he was had a main character role for some mega film that's supposed to drop within 2 years. He was supposed to go shoot, unless they're going to do that after he ends up dropping it, maybe after WrestleMania or whenever they decide to take it off of him.
He does. Drew does, but it's not until April.
Okay. So Cody
That
probably
film, that role. So what I read yesterday or today was that this whole suspension thing is supposed to have him out until Royal Rumble and have him win the Rumble. But then follow with me on this one. If he wins the Rumble, wins the title at WrestleMania. When's WrestleMania?
April, mid-April, which it's still
Right.
weird. I'm used to it being very early April or end of March, but they changed all that a year ago.
But if he's leaving to do the movie in April, why would you put the belt on him in April?
No telling. And see, I don't know if this was true. I heard another reason why they did WrestleMania so late in April last year is because they didn't want to compete with the Final Four.
They didn't. They didn't. They had 2 or 3. They didn't want to be competing with opening day for Major League Baseball. They didn't want to be competing with the Final Four. Plus, they wanted to give a little bit more time between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania to build to the event.
Which they booked the Rumble in February, which is another weird thing, and then Elimination Chamber very beginning of March, which I'm used to the Chamber being in March, but like the Rumble being on February 1st was just so off for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was just the first of the month.
They got their calendar all screwed up.
I'm just used to being a January. I'm used to it as a January PLE. But going back to that SmackDown New Orleans, I was there, and that's TKO at the time. I think I spent $50 for that ticket when The Rock announced WrestleMania was going to come. I bought a ticket like 2 weeks before, and then when I found out the night before that The Rock was going to be there, I said, I'm so glad I bought a ticket just to see The Rock. Yeah. Again, because I've seen him countless times.
Well, dude, I know you got another show you're going to be doing here in a few minutes.
Absolutely. And for those tuning in, sorry for the wait. I know we promised this around SummerSlam, or we promised it around this time, but you look at a guy like Rich, he does like 3 shows on this network. He's got his NASCAR show, 2 Tire Change. He hosts his open mic night, and then he does his Still Shitty show with Adam. And then I got On the Go, and I occasionally pop on open mic. And then when it's UFL season, I'm a part of that as well. So it's like we do a lot of different shit on this network.
We do, but we got to do this a little more frequently, man. We'll get it all together.
Well, I can promise the people 3 shows coming soon. Even though tomorrow makes the 20-year anniversary of Eddie's death, they're declaring. I know Texas declared Eddie Guerrero Day on November 18th, and I said that'd be a perfect day to do a tribute for Eddie. I got a guy coming on for that. That same guy who's going to come on, I planned to announce I was doing a John Cena tribute show for his final match 2 days before Saturday night's main event on December 11th. He's coming on for that one, and it'll be a Thursday night show, so I figured if you don't have nothing going on, you can join us. And sometime this month, probably the week of Thanksgiving, I don't know what day yet, we're going to do a prediction show for Survivor Series. That's one thing at least we'll try, do prediction shows for the WWE ones, and then if we decide to do something for AEW, TNA, NXT, because that's the only other shows I'll watch. I don't watch Ring of Honor. I occasionally watch AAA if I get a hold of it on YouTube, but I don't really watch New Japan. But if the card's good for like Wrestle Kingdom, I tune in. Get up at 5 a.m. for that. But we got good stuff coming. Just you got to you trusted the process. I think if Cena didn't win that IC title, we wouldn't be talking right now. I'd still be
You
waiting.
might be right. You might actually be
thank
right.
You, Cena.
But,
thank you, Cena.
Man, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. I know for people who've seen this now, or if they've never seen before, you can find me at Big Hoss 337 on X. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram. My show I cover every Wednesday night at 9 on the go. That'll be going live in 10 minutes. That's on X at on the go _TXLA. So if you're going to be ready for that, get your popcorn ready in 10 more minutes. I'll be going live for that.
There you go. And I'm on Twitter at BigRich8371 or on Facebook. It's just my name, Rich Richardson. Haas basically covered it, what my schedule is on the network. So I'm not going to go over that again, but we're going to try and make this thing a regular deal again. Haas, have a great show right after this, man. Get yourself a chance to get yourself something to drink and go back at it.
Am I missing anything else? Or that's everything you've covered is what I said?
Sir?
I said, did I miss another show, or everything I said is what you cover?
No, you covered every bit of it. You did great. You did fantastic.
Two-Tower Change, Open Mic, Steel City. I thought I was missing something else I didn't know about.
No, you got it all covered, man.
Yeah,
you got it all covered. So
again, I didn't get to say it at the beginning, but I wasn't able to join you when you immediately went live after Hogan's passing because I was in the middle of the store trying not to burst into tears when I got the news about Hogan. So I was trying to deal with a customer, trying to keep a straight face. But, man, if I'd have been off that day, I would have hopped on immediately. But I had to wait till the next night to get myself ready to talk about this, which, I mean, it went well.
Yeah, it affected a lot of people a lot of different ways. But
I feel like if it was a very serious. I mean, it was very tragic. But I mean, the way people reacted. I mean, people had their own opinions about him. But I said when he passes, it was going to be as hard as like an Eddie death or Owen Hart or Bray Wyatt, but it wasn't even close because of his history with what he said on the radio.
Yeah,
it took a heart out of me because I was somewhat of a Hulkamaniac. Even though I didn't live at that time, I didn't see Hogan for the first time until he was in the NWO. But I lived through that Hulkamania 2.0 in 2002.
I lived through the original part of it. I wasn't a fan then. Wasn't a fan the whole time through it. So I understood what he did for the business and what he meant to the business, but that still didn't make me a fan. So but like I say, I wasn't a Dale Earnhardt fan either, but I understood what Earnhardt meant to the business. And
you weren't a fan of him, but you respected what he did. You respected what he did. I could say the same for certain other wrestlers. Like, man, I've been a fan. Like, I'm not a fan of Dominic Mysterio, but he's carrying Eddie Guerrero's legacy with how he's acting. I'll give him respect for that.
That's true.
But
that is true.
All right, man. I'm gonna go get ready for this next one. I'll see you next Tuesday.
All right, buddy. We'll see you then. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you later on.
Thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all next week.